Hello everyone. Today we have with us Dr. Siddharth Jaiswal. He is an Indian Administrative Service Officer and currently the District Magistrate of Dhalai. So let us welcome Siddharth Jaiswal. Welcome
Thank you,
Siddharth.
sir.
So
Thank you,
tell
sir. Thank you.
us something about yourself.
Uh, I am a medical graduate. I did my schooling from St. Paul's School in Gorakhpur, and thereafter I joined the Armed Forces Medical College in Pune. After completing my MBBS, I joined the Army in the year 2010. I served in the Army for almost 7 years. I served in high altitude locations near to Nathula for almost 3 years. And thereafter, I joined the Indian Administrative Service in the year 2016. And thereafter, I've been posted uh, at various positions. I was SDM in Long Thrai Valley, which is again a subdivision in the district where I'm posted right now. Thereafter, during COVID times, I was the Mission Director, National Health Mission, and also the Commissioner of Agartala Municipal Corporation. And thereafter, for almost 1 year, I was Director of Social Welfare Department. And now I am posted here as District Magistrate and collector in the Dhalai district for the past 6 months.
Great. So how will you explain your transition from medicine to armed forces and now to civil service? Like, uh, what do you feel? What motivated you for these transitions?
I wanted to do medicine since the beginning in during my school days only. I joined Armed Forces Medical College because um, there was no fees involved in that college. The government used to take expenditure and used to take care of the expenditure of the medical studies. Like everything was sponsored, right from the stationery to the books to the uniform. Everything was sponsored. So because of the because of my financial condition at that time, I chose to go to Armed Forces Medical College. Besides that, it is one of the best medical colleges in the country with great academic records, where they pay equal emphasis on the extracurricular activities. So it is a reputed college. So I joined the Armed Forces Medical College, and as a natural consequence of joining that, I joined the Indian Army. Because once you join the college, the government takes care of your expenditure. You are supposed to join the Indian Army for some time. So I opted for short service commission officer because I wanted to pursue uh, a civilian life after my tenure in the armed forces. So I joined as a short service commission officer. I did my internship in Command Hospital Lucknow, and thereafter I was posted. In Nathula area, high altitude area. It's a difficult terrain with very harsh climatic conditions. The patients were few, but whenever they came, they were very serious. So that gave me some time to think. So there I realized that medicine is just a small part of the solution. It's administration uh, which has answered to most of the problems which we are facing. Because in Nathula, when I was there, there was a civil population there. There were hospitals, there were schools, but there were no teachers, there were no doctors in the hospital, and basically there was no government machinery to provide service to the people except for the army. And my role was very limited. So I realized that administration will provide me a platform where I can handle situations more comprehensively, and that is why I plan to prepare for the civil services. I prepared while I stayed in Nathula for almost 2.5 years. I prepared there, and thereafter I got posting to Institute of Technology Management in Missouri, where I continued my preparation. And in the year 2016, I got selected in the Indian Administrative Service, and I joined the academy, which is again located in Missouri. I had to get down one hill and join the academy on the other side of the hill. So that's my story in brief.
So what were the optional subjects you took for civil service exam?
Since I was already in the service, I did not had the option to choose to take long leaves and join any coaching institute. So I did my self study, and I was most confident in the subject in which I did my graduation. So I opted for medical sciences as my optional.
Many people believe that self-study is difficult for the civil service examination coaching, and people go to Mukherjee Nagar, Rajendra Nagar in Delhi. What is your suggestion to them?
It was a bit challenging for me in the beginning because there was no people around to guide me about the preparation, about the type of um, uh, reading material I should go through like that. It took a lot of time for me to get this information firsthand. But once I realized that it is possible by self-study, I adopted ways and means to deal with it. I had joined one online test series that was free of cost, insightsonindia.com, and they post very relevant materials relevant to the UPSC preparation. And whatever they post, it has got a very practical approach. I'm talking about the year 2015. So I hope they are still doing the great job which they were doing at that point of time. So once I cleared the prelims, I took printout of their questions which they posted, say once in a week. I took the printout and created an atmosphere of examination. I switched off my mobile phone and tried to finish that question paper in a time-bound manner. And thereafter, I compared my answer to the answers which were posted online by other aspirants. So that way, I could judge myself the points which I had missed, the points which I had written extra, because there is very limited time in writing the mains UPSC. There are just you have just around 9 minutes. If we talk about paper two, three, and paper one, two, and three, we have on an average around 9 minutes to answer each question. So we need to have very we need to have a very calculated approach. Whatever you know is it does not matter. What matters is what you are able to put on your answer sheet. So it has to be very calculated, nothing more, nothing less. At the same time, the complete issue should be covered comprehensively. So that's how I prepared myself. About the role of coaching, I cannot say since I did not join, but definitely it guides the aspirants. Maybe the time for preparation, it took around 3 years for me to get myself ready for the examination. Maybe the coaching will reduce it, but it's not that it is not possible without coaching.
Great. For someone who is not from India, how will you explain the difficulty of the civil service examination, the
Um,
competition, and all?
yeah. First of all, the number of candidates is huge. Basically, if we talk about the ratio, there are around thousand candidates for each seat. So that itself is a big challenge. Number one. Number two, the syllabus covers almost everything under the sun. So you have to be aware of everything which is going on around you as a common man. You should be aware about the latest technological developments, about the activities which is going on in the country in the field of economics, in the field of internal security, in the field of foreign relations, and also you are expected to know about the history, the culture of India, and not many things about the ethical. They have also included a paper on ethics. Uh, um, they had included it in the year 2014, as far as I know. So besides that, there is an uh, uh, paper on essay. Now, essay writing is an art in itself. Thereafter, once you do that, you need to prepare two papers for your optionals. Um, Whatever subject you choose, there are two papers, paper one and paper two. That again tests your expertise in that field. And thereafter, once you clear those obstacles about the written part, um, uh, uh, you need to face the interview, which again is which may be very distressing at times, because sometimes the interview panel tries to push you to the wall, push you against the wall, and thereafter they want to see how you are able to recover from that situation. So it becomes sometimes it becomes very what should I say it, distressing at times. So overall, it's starting from prelims where there are multiple choice questions to essay based answers, to long answer questions to the interview. It's a complete journey. It's challenging as well as very exciting, and in the process, it prepares you for the challenges which you are going to face in the services ahead. So that is why it is considered as one of the most difficult exams in the world, I can say.
Great. Um, let's now come to Tripura. You are the district magistrate of Dhalai. Tell us something about your district and why it is called an aspirational district.
Um, Aspirational listed because basically the government of India, Niti Aayog, the government of India, they had launched a program called as the Aspirational District Program, in which they have chosen certain parameters, and based on that parameters, they have selected around 112 districts across the country, which are relatively backward, but at the same time, they have got a lot of opportunities. So Dhalai is one of the aspirational district uh, among the 112 districts selected across the country. It is the only district in the state of Tripura. As I said earlier, it is relatively backward as far as the status of infrastructure is concerned, the status of roads um, is concerned. The terrain is difficult. Just now we had a thunderstorm last night, and the power supply is disrupted as of now. These are the challenges which we face on a day-to-day basis. At the same time, it has got a lot of opportunities because it has got a lot of natural resources. The forest constitutes more than 70% of the total geographical area. Similarly, the scheduled tribe population, it constitutes around 60% of the population of the district. So it has got a lot of opportunities also. The people in the remote areas, they are good in making their own handlooms. Now, under the Tripura Rural Livelihood Mission, we are also exploring ways of having good marketing strategy for the indigenous food, like they practice jhum cultivation here to a large extent, and in that they grow a lot of variety of crops. One of that is the sticky rice. So this knowledge has been passed down the generation from ages. So it has got a lot of opportunity. So we are just trying to do some kind of good packaging for that sticky rice. Similarly, the banana chips they are processing here, as you are having in Kerala. So that is how we are exploring the opportunities here and trying to improve the living condition of the people here. Um, uh, at the same time, as I said, it has got a lot of opportunities. We have also developed a good tourist location here. There is a Dumbur Lake around, which is spread across 40 square kilometers and has around 100 islands on that. We have built a very luxurious log huts there, and it is in great demand despite the um, difficult road journey to the location. It is in great demand, and people from all across the state and also people from other parts of the country are coming to the log huts. So this is how we are working on it and trying to explore the opportunities in order to have a better life for the people.
How does a typical day look like for you as the DM?
Uh, I have made my habit not to compromise on my fitness. So I wake up early. Now I'm used to wake up early. Even it was raining today, I got up at 6 o'clock. Thereafter, I go for a run for 5 kilometers. I do some exercises, some stretching, and thereafter I get ready for my office. I do some office work in my residence, and thereafter I attend my office. There are meetings scheduled. There are visitors. There are people with grievances coming to the office. and thereafter I schedule field visit at least twice in a week to the locations where I can monitor the development activities which are going on, plus the activities of the line departments. Like I last time I went to a block called Salemardi block where interacted with the um, community health officers working in the health and wellness centers. I interacted with the doctors there. I interacted with the teachers, plus my departmental staffs, the activities which they are doing, so that they are also motivated in a way, and they can also put up the challenges which they are facing in implementation of their program, because there are a lot of issues which require interdepartmental coordination. And district magistrate is the authority which can provide that kind of coordination in the district. So to have the on-ground experience of whatever is going on in the district, field visits are very necessary. So I make it a point to have at least two field visits in a day. Thereafter, the office normally gets over by say 7:30. Plus, there are sometimes VCs also from the state and also from the government of India. Like yesterday, we had two video conference from the state related to related to the coordination regarding the drug addiction in the state, and also related to the Swachh Bharat mission. I'm just giving an example. Thereafter, the normally the office gets over by 7:30. I come back to my house. I try not to bring my office in my house except for that half an hour in the morning where I go through the dark. But I try not to bring my routine work to my house. Uh, but since the job of the district magistrate is very critical, we get calls of all sorts throughout the day. Some are routine, which we handle during the office hour, and some are urgent in nature, like some kind of disaster conditions and some kind of law and order situation in which we need to be on our toes all the time. So accordingly, we have proper coordination with the police department, which with the fire service and emergency department. So that's how a normal day looks like here in the life.
That's great. Uh, in your long career, can you tell some special project you have done that which you still remember and you think that was one of the best work you have done?
COVID was a very challenging time. That time I was the mission director, National Health Mission. We were totally dependent on Assam for the oxygen supply in the state. So there was no oxygen plant in the government setting in the state. There was just one oxygen plant of very low capacity in the private hospital ILS. You must be aware. Uh, for the district hospitals, having that self capacity of generating our own oxygen and then giving it to patients and not dependent on uh, some other state, not dependent on the road connectivity for such a critical thing was very important. So we started to make to commission those oxygen plants, which require civil work. The getting those plants airlifted from the manufacturer, get it installed near the district hospital, then the pipelines, the multi gas pipeline system, the electrical supply, and then the pipeline to each and every ward wherever it is required was a very challenging task at that time, and we did it in seven district hospitals in the state, plus two state hospitals. One was the regional cancer center that was of very high capacity, 1000 LPM, and similarly in GB hospital. So we could do it in a time-bound manner. And I remember uh, one incident in which we were almost ready. We were almost ready with the civil work, the electrical work. I paid multiple visits with my engineers to the spot. We were all ready, but the person from the ministry, he was slightly reluctant to send the oxygen plants. He always came up with some or the other deficiency that our site is not yet ready. So that time I had to be very firm with that particular officer in the ministry. I told him in very straight terms that we have done whatever is possible here, and we are ready to install the oxygen plant. And if you do not airlift it, if you do not airlift it and get it delivered to the hospital by tomorrow, I am going to write a letter to the secretary of the ministry who is responsible for installation. And the very next hour, I got the mail that the supplies are ready. Basically, it had to be moved from some DRDO institution to the district hospital. The very next hour, I got the mail that the um, plant will be airlifted the next day and will be in position the very next day. So that was something very unique installation of the oxygen plant in all the district hospitals of the state. And the second was obviously the vaccination part, because there were a lot of hesitancy related to vaccination initially. So we tried a lot of things. We engaged with our public representatives, the religious leaders, the doctors, everyone who could have influenced people to come forward to take the vaccine. That was very challenging, but initially, but after some time, there was huge demand. There were huge demand for the vaccine, whereas there was shortage of vaccine for young people, for people less than 45 years of age. That time again, we had to airlift vaccines from the nearest store in Kolkata. I had to request the ATC, uh, ATC and the Airport Authority of India for uh, giving us some kind of relaxation so that we can load our vaccines in the plane. As you know, there are no night operations in Agartala Airport, whereas the next day, most of the people were waiting for their vaccine. And if we could not have delivered those vaccine to the end point, people would have lost trust, because we all the time we were saying, come forward for the vaccine. And if they come up from their home to the nearest vaccination center, and if they do not find those vaccines, they would have lost trust in the government machinery. So we tried our level best to got it airlifted to Agartala that night itself, and then we shifted the complete consignment to the district stores, and from the district stores to the concerned cold chain points. So it was a big exercise, and finally, before we could start, before the slot for vaccination opened, we could deliver the vaccine to the endpoints, and we could achieve almost 100% coverage in the 45 plus age group in a very time bound manner, and that reduced our mortality to a huge extent. Whereas you could have seen a shortage of beds in other parts of the country, there were absolutely no shortage of bed in Tripura. Like I can say that 40% of the beds in the hospitals were free because of a timely vaccination, because of which the severity of the disease was very less in the vaccinated population, and that it also helped in some kind of herd immunity. So that was a great achievement. The all the works which were done in NHM during the COVID times. This is just a part of it. We had also developed tertiary care centers, got machines from outside, got it airlifted. That was really very challenging, and that is something which I will remember throughout my life. That is something which I can tell my kids. Look what we had done during those challenging times. Apart from the logistical issues we faced during the lockdown, I was also the commissioner of Agartala Municipal Corporation. So we had to distribute that ration to the people who were facing the consequences of lockdown. We prepared almost 1,000 packets of lunch every morning and every evening and distributed it through our zonal offices. That was again challenging.
I was in Agartala when you were in the commissionerate, so I can attest that how effective you were and how everyone benefit from your active um and passionate work. So I wanted to know something about your vision for development of Tripura.
Um, Basically, if we talk, Tripura as such is a big state with a lot of diversity. Big state, I mean, geographically, it's a big state. It's 10,000 square kilometers. Population is less. It's concentrated more in Agartala. Otherwise, it's distributed. Uh, like in Dhalai, the area is around 2,500 square kilometers, whereas the population is just 4.27 lakhs. So, and with a lot of diversity, we find around 19 tribes in Tripura, out of which 17 tribes are there in Dhalai as well. Um, so what we talk about India is like when we talk about unity and diversity in India, so that you will not find a better example of unity and diversity than in Tripura in general, and in Dhalai, to be very specific. All the communities are living peacefully. There are some issues sometimes, law and order, communal issues, but we try to nip it in the bud. Election time was one such time where there are a lot of instances where it could have been blown out of proportion, but it was controlled timely with the help of the police. SP is my good friend. Ramesh is my good friend. You must be knowing him. So, if I talk about the vision for the development of Tripura, definitely there is a lot of unemployment in the state. The business opportunities are limited. There are no big industries in the state. Um, there's a lot of scope about lot of scope of the micro and the small industries. So one thing where I would like to work uh, and improve the lives of people is in the livelihood sector, because once we improve the livelihood opportunities, once a family gains some income, automatically the educational outcomes, the health outcomes, his attitude towards the services which is being provided by the government, it changes. So this is what I believe the way forward is, improving the livelihood opportunities.
Great. So, as an IAS officer, you'll have a lot of opportunities working with the government of India too in the future. So, which ministry or which sector will you want to work in the government of India?
I never thought about this. I never thought about this. Since you have asked, I do not have any specific preferences. Like I like, as I mentioned, I would like to work in the RD, Urban Development Department, because urbanization is the future. Um, I do not have any specific choice here.
Great. Uh, Thank you, Siddharth. I know you have a busy day ahead. Although it's a Saturday there, I think you will have to go to the field. You'll be visiting a lot of projects and you'll be interacting with many people today. Thank you so much. You took out the time to speak with me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.